have a seat here, and I'll have a seat here. And you have to look at that because they don't exist. Thanks for coming in. Now, obviously they do exist, but they're not really there to examine you, they're there to examine me and how I work. So you're not really in the spotlight, even though they're here to learn about general principles of how to teach, especially how to teach a first lesson. Now, I know nothing about them.
I know very little about you.
What do you know about the technique? You know about the technique?
I just know that you sit in and out of a chair.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, you've been very well.
And I was told not to look, so I haven't looked on it.
Right, okay. And you haven't explained what the technique is apart from getting it out of the chair?
No, that's okay.
Alright. So I'm going to ask you just a few brief questions before I train into the deep. Are there any things that hurt? Neck or back or shoulders? Any particular? Nothing?
Nothing.
Healthy and fine. Why did you volunteer to be a guinea pig?
This is not my thing.
Okay.
I'm the godmother.
Oh, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
Right, so general interest really.
Yes, just a conscious
The technique is really a re-educational system. Most people, not everyone, will come with certain complaints. Traditionally, postural complaints, aches, pains, neck problems, shoulder issues, strain, lower back problems, breathing difficulties, performance issues, and so on. That's the sort of general category. The others make up general interest as a prevention, in other words, to maintain health or well-being as life progresses or in more stressful and demanding situations. So it can also be viewed as a stress management process, not simply a correction of muscular or postural distortions. Okay, so they can be an emotional, mental side, as in how to cope with stress without getting into too much of a pickle, but also the postural and physical side, how to find more general needs and the reduction of symptoms of distortion and stress. Right. So I'm going to use my hands and guide you. Do you know that you don't even know that bit? So that's very important. So you are going to get in and out of the chair. I'm going to guide you in and out of the chair with my hands. And I'll make some very, very gentle movements. Have you ever had something like osteopathy before?
I've had reflexology.
Reflexology?
And acupuncture.
Oh, right. So you're used to being sort of in touch on your
Yes, I
feet?
had my back flicked after overdosing.
Oh, right. Okay. And when was that?
The accident was in 2004.
Did it cause trouble afterwards straight away?
Yes.
Like for months?
Yeah, years.
For years after that? And you
I
went
went
to
to
some...
see I saw a homeopathic doctor.
Yes.
And she's 82 French.
Wow.
And she's still practicing. She's written loads of books. She was originally a chiropractor and reflexology.
Yeah.
And she clicked my back and I haven't pain since.
Right. And homeopathy as well?
Yes.
So you don't
The hay fever.
Oh, so it was...
The hay fever, not for my back though.
Just kicked you
She
on the
picked
back.
my back, but the hay fever and general stress and anxiety. And she's dealt with everything.
She sounds quite something. Good. All right. So I'm going to use my hands too, but I won't click you.
So when you say and relax, then you know what's
That's
coming.
right. And relax and breathe out.
Yes.
Bang. Have you had quite a few? How many?
No, one session.
Only one manipulation.
Well, it was one session.
Yes.
Several.
Several clicks.
Yes.
And that was enough just to help you recover from
Yes.
the initial impact. Great. Wonderful. And since then, everything's good.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. So what we'll do is, I think actually I'll have a higher raise if there is one somewhere. Thank you. This is an easy chair. So you can stand. And what's going to happen is you're going to look out of the window. So you'll be looking over there. And you're going to stand in front. Yes, you're going to stand in front of the stool. And put your feet a little bit wider apart. And I'm going to work with you. Put my hands on you and move you. And if there are any questions that pop in, feel free to let me know.
I don't do anything.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, a bit like simple silence. Yes. In some other session, I may just be quiet and just gently putting my hands and moving you around. Not very much. It may seem like not very much is happening. And while I'm moving you, you have one particular role, which is to let me move you without helping. be something simple as I take an arm, and if I let go, of course, it will just let go by itself. And sometimes you might find yourself helping without doing it on purpose, because it's very, very difficult to leave the body alone when someone else is moving. You might know that. So like if I take an arm, it's still there.
I won't do that.
You have to remember not even to lift it in the first place, because I'm going to do all the lifting. But it's not easy, so I'm not expecting it to work like that, but that's the idea. As long as you know that your role is not to do the lifting for me, or the moving for me, I did that movement.
I don't resist.
You don't have to resist, but you don't have to take over the movement. So it's both of those things. But you don't have to try. It doesn't matter if you succeed or not. It really doesn't matter. But that's, as long as you know the general principle, which is I'll do the best I can to move you in any way I choose, and you're going to do the best you can without getting too interested in it, to leave yourself alone. And as I said, any questions that come in, please feel free to ask any question you like. There's no wrong time. What sort of exercise and activity do you engage in?
I do Zumba, and I start to do fit steps, which is why I'm looking at the cha-cha-cha dance.
Oh yeah, it's fit steps. Is that when you go up and down on a step?
No, you learn to walk and dance, but without the partner.
Oh wow, solo.
Yes, we just copy what they did.
Right. Now it's going to get a bit more interesting in a second. I'm going to ask you in a minute so to bend your knees as you get yourself into the chair. I'm going to have my hands on your neck or your back just to support you while this is happening.
Do I go down onto the chair?
Oh, you'll actually hit it. Yeah, you'll hit the chair. And when you get there, you stop. Right. And I'll choose an angle for you. So right now I'm going to take your hips back and you just bend the knees all the way to the chair. The next stop. And I'll take you back again. And then stop. And I'm going to move your shape around a bit as well. Next line. Does that feel rather bizarre? I've just done with your back just now.
Yes, pretend I'm trying to be a ragdoll.
You're trying to be a ragdoll. Does that feel like a ragdoll?
Yes.
Right. Don't increase it or ragdoll, but even in this condition, it feels like a ragdoll.
Yes.
What sort of shape have you created in your back?
I feel it feels kind of like a C shape.
Right. Okay. We should actually have you the other way around, actually, shouldn't we? Yeah. All right. If you can just sort of inch yourself round, facing the non-existing student. Alright, that's fine for a while. Yeah. Don't change anything. So it feels quite ragdollish, like I said.
Yes, my shoulders are moving forward, so it feels a bit strange.
And the spine.
Yeah, it feels as if it's like a C. Yeah,
Have a
round.
look in the mirror, and what do you see?
Flat.
Right. Almost bang upright, isn't it? From here to here, almost without any kink at all, isn't it?
Yes, that's not what it feels like.
No, it feels like this, doesn't it?
Yes.
Right. You're a bit surprised at that, aren't you?
Yes.
So if he wants to be so-called upright, because you've been told, probably,
I feel like.
yeah, you'd do that, wouldn't you? Yes. And what do you see you're creating here? Where do you think the weak link is going to create itself? What part of your back would have a bit of a rougher time? Yeah, exactly. Have quite a rough time, wouldn't it? You feel the muscles here are doing quite a lot of work. You feel that? Yeah. And which is hard work, doing that, or just being a little bit quieter? Which is less energy.
That's less energy, but it feels awkward.
Very good. So it feels awkward because it's very unfamiliar. You feel you're like a ragdoll looking like a C shape.
Yes.
But if you look in the mirror, you can see you're not. You're not like a ragdoll in the spine at all.
No, I'm shocked.
You are shocked. But that's already quite economical. So let's see what it's like when you don't make so much of an effort in your back. Now, you could have come in and said, Anthony, I've got quite quite tight lower back, and it's a little bit achy when I'm standing up for a long time. You haven't said any of that, so that's okay. But I would say that the back is having an easier time now, like this, and we'll see if it actually improves your function, alright? See how what it feels like to have this quality of ease in your back for a little bit longer. So I'm not asking you to correct yourself right now at all. But what I mean by correction is I'm not asking you to sit up straight in your idea of straight, although the mirror tells you that you're upright. Yeah. By the way, straight doesn't really exist in nature, so I wouldn't ask you to be straight anyway. You don't have to be straight. But I bet when you were younger, you were told to sit up straight.
Yes.
Did they also tell you to pull your shoulders back and all the rest of it?
Yes, I went to a convent.
Yes. So you were told all of these things. What impact do you think that had on you, being told these things when you were young?
I did as I was told.
You did as you were told, yeah. That's right. You did as you were told, and you pulled your shoulders back and you did what felt like upright.
Yes.
So now when you don't do what you were told to do, so to speak, you probably feel you're being a bit naughty.
Yes. I feel as if I'm punched.
Yeah. As in the very thing that they tell you in the convent, you mustn't do that. Sit up straight, young lady. Don't be a sloth. Now, I'm going to move you forwards. That's good. Move my hands. Right. I'm going to move you back again. So it's one of the basic principles of the technique that actually the feelings we have about what we do aren't always accurate. And the mirror will tell you a bit more accuracy than what the feelings tell you. Does that make sense to you?
It does now. I've seen it.
Now you've seen it, you can't argue with it, really.
No.
I'll move you forwards. And then stop. Right, I'm going to move you over your feet. Right. You haven't done that for anything with the back of the moment, have you? You haven't made it straight, so your idea is straight at the moment, have you?
No, you've told me to.
You're doing perfectly. You're exactly doing what you're required to do. So right
That's a
now,
trick question. Am I going to look in the mirror before I have?
yeah, I'll show you in a second. Now stand up with your heels. Yeah, wonderful. And now just bend the knees.
Which?
Oh, that's it. Perfect. When you get to the chest, stop. Heels. Bend the knees. That's it. You can drop the arms too. Exactly. Stand up with the heels. Yes, bend the knees. What's it like to come out of the chair? In an out chair like this. Heels.
Feels really artificial.
Yeah. It is artificial because we're doing it in a very artificial way. What else about it apart from being...
It feels as if my weight is all falling forwards and if I might actually fall flat on my face.
Yes, that's right. Where do you think, where are you making the effort? What muscles?
I'm having to concentrate my feet.
Yes.
It feels that this doesn't feel right, the normal way of getting out of the
That's
chair.
right, correct. What muscles would you say are working harder and what muscles are working less hard?
The muscles down the front of my thighs,
Yes.
but also my shins,
Very good. And what's working less hard then?
my back.
Perfect. Perfect. So you've understood the whole of the other technique already. So your back isn't involved. Pity this lot though.
If I don't know any of the theory, I'm just thinking
No,
what
I
I'm
know.
doing.
The theory comes from the practice. So you now know that your legs were demanded on in a new way. So your shins were working, your quads were working, and you didn't feel you had to do very much in your neck and spine at all.
No, I didn't do anything with that.
Nothing happened
I
there.
wasn't thinking about that.
That was your making rather quiet and free. Now if you think about it logically, sitting, standing and walking is probably a leg activity and not really a neck or back activity. But most of us don't do that because we don't know what we're doing. We're putting more tension into the neck and back, and the legs have a bit of a holiday. It should be the other way around.
But then the way I was getting in out of the chair, I felt really odd on my feet.
It will be.
It felt as if it was in the ball of my feet rather than my heel.
Yeah, well, I'm not so worried about that, but you'll probably find you can put all the foot on the ground, like you are now, and keep that quite still on the ground. You don't have to use one bit of the foot. Yeah, so the back of the foot a little bit more, bend the knees. Yeah, that's fine. And then stop. And very, very quiet here. Then stand up with the heels. That's it, and keep the toes
Should
on.
I move my feet further forward? Because at the moment it feels like my balls, if I put them here,
You could.
That'd be easier.
Although it would be much more difficult to get out of a chair, but it's certainly easy to keep your heels on the ground. I don't really mind really.
But you want to weight through the heels.
I want the weight including the heels. And not so much on the heels that the toes have to sort of come off the ground. The whole feet flat and easy and happening on the ground. Not for you to make a big effort, trying to keep bits and pieces of your foot on the floor. Yeah? Yeah. So I'm moving you backwards. What's happening in the neck and back as I'm moving you backwards and forwards?
I think the neck is tensing up.
At which point?
Where you're there.
Yes.
I'm not sure what you want me to do.
That's right, that's right. It tips a little bit, and now I'm going to take you back again. And now what's happening with the neck and back? Just swaying. So you're just moving from what part of your body?
From my hips.
Correct. You're moving from your hips, and what's happening now in the neck and spine?
Just sort of moving by myself.
By
As
yourself.
in, they
That's
feel as if, they're probably not, but they feel as if they're in line.
That's
just
right.
moving as one
That's
piece.
right. Yes, you're moving as a piece, and you're not activating any stress in your neck and back separately, are you?
No.
Just the whole of you is moving as a piece from your hips. Yeah, that's it. And then move much further forwards this time. That's it, drop your arms. Yeah. What does your back feel like it's doing at the moment? What shape?
It feels as if it might be going almost like undulating hills.
Like rounding?
Yes.
Have a look in the mirror. Do you look like it feels?
It feels like there's a bit more of a dip around there.
Right, you feel more rounded here?
Yes.
Oh, yes. And as it happens in practice, if you again look in the mirror, it's not doing anything, is it? It's just...
No.
So your feelings aren't going to be the same as what the mirror tells you. Yeah?
No, obviously not.
That's always really quite a surprise for most of us.
Surprise for me too.
Yeah, because most of us are doing things based on what feels right, if you think about it. And you don't question that, do you?
No.
And stand up at the heels. That's great. And then bend the hips and knees. That's it. Yeah, perfect. You get the chair stop. And then heels. And then bend the knees. Yeah. And stop. And heels.
That's easier now that the different positions.
Yes, and
that
me-
my heels are more engaged than they were before.
That's it. Makes it a bit harder work lower down. That's true. Yes. And what's happening again in the neck and back, do you think, as you're coming in and out of the chair?
Nothing.
Nothing. Wonderful. So the nothing idea, I want you to remember that. The nothing that's happening in the neck and back is quite an important principle. We'll cover it in a minute. But just remember the nothing sensation in the neck and spine, right?
Yeah.
And the something is happening in
Quads.
the quads and the ankles.
Yes.
Right? True?
Yes.
Right. And then heels. And then walk around the room a little bit. Quite quickly. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. All the way around and then back to the stool. What's it like to move like that?
Which move? Walking
just
around.
walking. Yeah, what was that like? Go and stand here.
It's a bit artificial at the moment.
Yeah, no, especially when you've been looked at. Anything else about the walking that you can register, even though it was...
The hips felt a bit looser.
Right, so you feel a bit freer in this general area?
Yes.
Very good. Any idea why you might feel a bit looser around the hip area? Because you're not doing all of the stuff in the neck and back that you normally do, so they're liberated. So your hips are now very free. Which is interesting, isn't it? You feel a lot looser around here.
Yes.
And you haven't tried to free up your hips and haven't massaged your hips.
No,
So
I was thinking about
you
it.
weren't even thinking about it, so that's very interesting, isn't it? That's another principle of Alexander. That when one part changes, everything changes. Or when you don't engage the neck and head and spine, it frees up the rest of you, including the hips. So stand up. Put your feet straight, a little bit straighter for now. And then shoulders behind you. And now bend the knee. Yeah, all the way to the stool. That's a little bit harder, isn't it?
Yes.
And then heels. Not impossible, but it makes a bit more of a demand.
angles.
Exactly. Right, so let's make it a bit easier again. That's great. Put your feet much wider again. Stop there. Yeah. Stools behind you again. My hands are saying the same thing. They're saying everything can remain very quiet and undisturbed. All right? In the neck, in the spine, in the chest, in the hips. Very undisturbed, but you might bend your hips and knees. You get to the chair. Yes, you don't have to sit up straight. Yeah. Give yourself a little more lifting. That's it. Drop a little bit more. Fine. A little bit more. Yeah. Give yourself a break. By the way, I'm not teaching you to sit and stand or to sit properly, but to actually move in a different way with a different freer body. A freer body. It may be more than a freer body, but we'll come to that. Normally you wouldn't be just sitting like this, would you?
No.
I mean, forget where the feet are or the angle of where the knees are.
I'm not sure it looks particularly elegant.
No, if you're in a dinner dress, then you would have your legs and knees together and all the rest. So this isn't for life, this is just for now. It's just for a lesson. But from the hips upwards, what's the experience?
This was really calm.
Really calm.
Just steady, secure.
Steady, secure, calm.
Yeah, comfortable.
Steady, secure, calm, comfortable. By all of that. Steady, secure, calm, and comfortable. And mentally, or was that also, did that include mentally?
Yes.
Mentally, is that a difference than when you walk through the door?
No, because I've met everybody before with coffee.
Oh.
So I feel quite comfortable.
You felt comfortable with all of that?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me take you further forwards. And stop. Wait there for a little while.
Now I can feel some sensation down my spine.
Yes. What is it?
Almost like sort of heat.
Heat. Right. Was it travelling downwards?
It's from their bra line down to sort of trousers.
Right. Heat.
Yeah.
Probably, I would guess, some extra circulation. Because you're not pinching yourself here like you were doing before. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you might get a little bit more circulation or blood, and that's heat, sensation of heat. You're moving forwards. Does it feel nice having that sense of warm sensation?
Yes.
That's it, pretty sure. Have a look in the mirror again. Just seeing that quality of, see that softness. It's not getting distressed or distorted, is it?
No.
Very soft. Heels. Yeah.
Am I standing up
Yeah,
here?
you can stand up. Yeah. You can stop there for a while, drop your arms. And then bend the knees. And then stand up the heels. That's it. And then bend the knees. Just get you up halfway for a while. Heels, stop halfway, bend the knees. And then heels. That's it. And bend the knees.
Why is it easier when you look halfway to keep the heel on the ground?
Oh, because when you're on the chair, the legs are at a different angle. So I'll show you. Bend the knees. Yeah, after a while, this way, it starts to come up, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Because the Achilles, the back of the leg, isn't going to stretch.
Enough to keep
If it
it
was this much stretchier, then your foot would be on the ground, even in this position, rather than having to take your foot forwards. And most people's Achilles are probably shortened because we don't squat very much, do we? Not a squatting culture, but if you think about it, if we were squatting all day, rather than sitting in chairs, it would stretch all the back of the legs, including the Achilles. And then you add on to that things like high heels, which shorten the Achilles. Don't know if you've ever worn high heels. Because it wouldn't be unusual for Achilles to get a bit shorter with high heels as well as lots of sitting in the absence of squatting. So I would say as a culture, most of us would have rather shortened Achilles.
even men.
Even men, yeah, because we don't squat either. the spine as you stand over the heels. Wonderful. And then you bend the knees over the toes. All the way. Shoulders there. And then stop. And stand over the heels. And bend the knees. Yeah. And heels. And bend the knees. And heels. So back to move like this, like that.
Engaging muscles, I don't think engaged.
Exactly. New muscles are working. Precisely. New muscles are working, and then what about more familiar muscles that would normally work?
They're not.
They're not.
They're just relaxed.
They're just relaxed. You've got it. Which of the muscles are much more relaxed than normal?
I'd say all the way down to my about there.
Yeah.
From my head.
Starting from the head all the way down.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
My whole focus is around my ankle area.
Yeah, your attention is directed towards the ankle area, and maybe sometimes here, because that's the muscles down in front, which don't normally, for the reasons we talked about before, don't normally work. We're normally using the neck and the back and the spine to walk and to sit and to stand and to engage. And when life is tough and you get stressed, how do you know when someone gets stressed in life? You can see it in their face and their neck and shoulders, can't you? And the hands. Exactly. Teeth, jaw, that's it. And right now, you're not doing any of that. You get a sense of that. You're not doing face, jaw, neck stuff at all.
No.
But you are doing whatever is appropriate, which is the demand of the legs to do so. Now I'll take away to an arm. That's it. That's good. And I'll take this arm. All the way to the arm, so I let it go, it will fall. How are you doing now?
Yeah.
Easy-ish?
Yeah.
And how's the back? What's the sensation of the back? Are you getting used to it? Is it a bit more familiar, or is it still quite a bizarre sense that you're
I've
very
completely
loud?
forgotten about it.
You forgot, so it's become more normalised.
Yes.
Just have a look at yourself in the mirror and see if it's a sense. If you saw someone like that at a dinner party, what would you think?
They were sitting up straight.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah. You would think, goodness, what slouches they are.
Yeah,
They have been to convent school.
The muscle line you see is completely straight.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. But without effort.
No.
So that might be a bit of a surprise. You can be beautifully upright without this business.
Yes.
So, being upright like this, what impact would that have on your neck, shoulders, jaw, face, back, and around there?
It ease any tension that might be there.
It would ease any tension that might be there.
Yes.
That's it. That's it, exactly. And now moving forwards. And stop. And now, what's happening is, I'm moving you forwards and backwards, and none of the tension patterns are returning to the neck and back. Is that fair?
Yes, it's
So I want to keep on.
it still feels warm.
You still feel warm?
Yeah.
Is it more warm than normal?
Yes.
What, all the way through this area?
Yes.
Good. It's a good sign. Not unpleasant.
No.
That's it. That's fine. Stop there. I'm going to get you out of the stool. And there's nothing you need to do whatsoever in the neck, head or back. That's fine. I'll take you further forwards until you open your feet. And then you can make a decision whenever you're ready to stand there with all the foot on the floor. Yeah. And what was that movement like?
Very easy.
Very easy. You might get a sense of how economical that movement is in terms of effort. Bend the knees. And when you get to the chair, stool, stop. And heels. And bend the knees again.
Should I be looking at the ground all the
So
time?
if you want to take a look at the ground, well, you don't want to look at the funny faces, so you probably, it might be more fun to look at the ground, I don't know. But you can look up at the ceiling, that's really better. the heels. And what's the movement like at the moment?
They still feel quite artificial in my lower leg.
Yes.
Especially outside of my lower
So
leg. That's moved a bit from
yes.
being right down the centre of my leg.
So there's new muscles kicking in right now, so the outside muscles are starting to work a bit more as well. You're getting a sense of those, yeah?
Yes.
And what's about the neck and back?
Oh, I've forgotten about those.
Exactly. So they're not engaging your attention.
No.
So you know that they're not doing anything in particular.
No, they're not doing it. I can't shake my head too because you told me not to, but no, they're not
Well,
doing
you can
it.
shake your head as much as you want.
No, they're not doing it at all.
Yeah, and then that's it. And then just walk around quite quickly. Yeah. Yeah. So all the way back again. Yeah. And all the way back. I know it's hard to walk naturally when you're being examined.
Well, also I feel as if I should be doing some ballet on the night.
Your feet's a bit wider. And what's the wall like again?
I think the pace was a bit surprising.
Yeah.
Having just been doing something that's so slow.
Slow, and suddenly you're starting walking quickly.
Yes.
The reason I was asking to walk a bit quicker so you don't have to make it too measured and too planned out. Yeah. And then bend the knees over the toes. That's fine, chest there. And then again, without having to do anything in the neck and spine, stand up. And then bend the knees again. And then heels. And then bend the knees again. And heel. Yes, and then last side, now you do normally. And I'll have my hands here for a little while. Okay, what's the experience like walking like that?
It's very strange walking something around
Yeah,
the neck.
yes.
Really odd.
Yeah. How did it influence you? I want you to lie on the table for a while.
I felt as if I was being
On the leg? On the lead?
Yes. Do you want me to lie down?
Yeah. I've got to wait till you get out. So now you've got some even easier time. I'm still going to do the same sort of thing. I'm going to move your head with your arms. You might lift up a leg. And you're doing exactly what you're doing right now, which is letting me do it. Yeah?
Yeah.
And since you've got an easy time, you're not even having to balance yourself. If any questions are popping in, feel free. So the dynamic technique involves not just the sitting, standing and walking stuff, but also some table work, which is you lying down and me moving you around.
What are you trying to do?
Well, here's the question. That's the right question. What does it feel like I'm doing with you? Or what do you feel is the impact of lying down on your spine? What do you think the back is doing now, a bit more than it will do normally?
I'm really not sure.
Okay, so if I guide your thinking, what's happening here in the lower back?
A bit of a curve,
Yeah,
but not much.
not much. So what's different to this part of your back now to maybe when you lie down on your own?
Okay, more of my back is now in contact with the bed.
Exactly. So now you understand what we do. Table work, there's a bit more gravity working on you, isn't there? Your lower back is a bit flatter against
Yes.
the table.
Yeah, but my neck feels as if it's being stretched.
That's right. So the neck is being, there's a certain traction or stretch in the neck that's doing this. So it's stretching the spine naturally. You're not coming along, you're not on a traction machine, but the neck is now longer.
Definitely.
Yes, that's right. And the impact of this whole thing has created a certain dropping of this part of your back onto the table. It's flatter. Yeah. So one of the impacts of working, or the reasons for work, is for you to let go even more of some of the patterns we were talking about before. Sit up straight, shoulders back, tummy in, all the stuff you might have been told.
Yes, I've been told.
And now, in a way, I want to liberate you from all of those external demands and leave the body to do what it wants to do. Yeah? What it wants to do without any of the external demands of forcing and pushing and pulling and straightening. But to leave the natural mechanisms to do what they're designed to do, which is to open you up, or to stretch you out. Because no one's stretching you. You're stretching yourself. You can see that, I'm not pulling anything.
It feels comfortable down the 2 lines, oh sorry,
Maybe good.
2 lines down at my back.
It feels comfortable 2 lines down the back. It feels like down the sides of the spine.
Yes,
That's
down
right.
either side.
Yes. More comfortable than normal.
Yes.
Yeah. That's right, but I can feel that too. Do you know why it's more comfortable there?
More relaxed.
Yeah. The muscles on either side of the spine, which normally are a bit more ridged, have gone like that.
That's what it feels like.
That's exactly what's happening. So the back is now softer against the table. The muscles are having a bit of an easier time. They're not engaged. No. Which makes sense really, because you only want muscles to engage when you want to use them for something.
We don't look like that.
We don't live like that. We mostly live at a higher pitch, where everything's doing stuff it doesn't really need to do. Stress patterns, hurry patterns, worry patterns, they impact on the body immediately. And most of us are repeating these patterns over and over again until they become quite habitual, and the body freezes into these patterns, and then we reinforce them pretty much in everything that we do. But it's interesting, although you said today you didn't come in with a back problem, you sense the difference between the back being easier compared to normal. But you didn't tell me that your normal feels generally a little bit tight. And now you have a feeling of contrast, don't you? You now know in retrospect.
I'm sunbathing.
Sunbathing, exactly. Yeah, see, all people need to do is come for an Alabama lesson and save thousands of quid.
But it's that lying down and not worrying about it.
Exactly, yeah. Now, I didn't tell you not to worry about anything in a way, but why do you think you're not worrying about anything? Why is
I'm
your...
not thinking about anything.
You're not thinking about anything. You are having an intelligent conversation, so you're not... God, I like you.
Well, let's hope.
But I think what you're pointing to is something really, really important. Your mind is in a different gear.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're in a different mental condition, like sunbathing
Yeah.
and having a nice holiday. And you're not really thinking about anything, which what I think you mean, you're not worrying about anything. You're not churning about anything. Your mind is in a different...
Just here.
You're just
Listening
here,
to you.
listening to
Feeling
me,
your hands.
feeling the warm hands. Which is quite a different mental condition, isn't it, compared to our everyday mental condition. It's not that you came in saying, Anthony, I'm really stressed out, I want to be a bit more chilled, but now that you're experiencing this, you can probably tell something about how you normally are. Not that you're a mess, because you're clearly not a mess at all, but in retrospect, after you have this experience, it pulls into a definition what you were before you had this condition.
Yes. Big contrast.
The big contrast, yes. So now, in that big contrast, how would you describe your normal state compared to where you are right now?
Busy.
Busy. Fantastic. Very busy. Very busy. And that's a normal state, I would say, that 99.9% of the population are in. Very busy. And the very busy has a physical counterpart. So the very busy brain goes hand in hand with what sort of body? Tense body. Yeah.
I wouldn't have said.
No, you didn't say. I asked you, you didn't say.
No.
But now that you have a much less busy mind, as you say just here, what body is that? Floppy. Yes, much softer, easier, freer. Do you see the connection? Between the less busy mind and the easier body, the freer hips as you talked about, and the busy brain with a tense body. So now you understand why most people come to Mensa. To have a bit more of a freer existence. Lovely. Freer existence. A freer existence. A different way of being in the world.
Nothing else has changed.
Nothing's changed at all. The world hasn't changed.
No. Not literally what's happening, but it feels like change.
sabotaging you. Absolutely not. No. I mean, that's a bit shocking in a way, isn't it? A bit surprising.
Yeah.
You're a bit confused. How can you have this?
How can you be in the centre of London thinking that's floating? Yeah.
Yes, how can you be in the centre of London when you can feel deflecting? Yeah. 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 So the technique is a way of learning how to introduce and recover this condition in your everyday life. So you can return to it, because I'll suggest that this is the natural condition that most of us have lost. It's not something I'm giving you with these minimal interventions. It's you, and you at the best. The optimum, you in the best condition possible. The best version of him. Yeah. And so the technique is for you to recover or return to the best conditions possible, the optimum conditions possible in everyday life.
In everyday life, you're not just lying.
In the work, nor are you sitting and standing. No. But you're still having a conversation with me. And as you said, you're a bit surprised, even in this condition, just to be lying here and floating.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm not saying life is as simple as lying down on a table.
So is it more that you should control your mind?
It's in a way that you have a way, you will learn a capacity for the mind to stay in this condition of stillness and freedom and engage in everyday life. Now, of course, you haven't learned the whole thing in one lesson. It's true. It's true. But you've got a taste of what's possible, that stillness and freedom of your mind, when you're sitting and standing, and the freedom in your hips that you're experiencing, and the softness of the muscles at the back, and now the quietening of the mind when you're lying down, and the emptiness, and the lack of busyness, that can grow to become stronger. The new norm, not the every second, but the new norm. That's a nice way of putting it. The new norm that can animate you more and more in everyday activities, in life. New way of being, rather than just an occasional thing that may happen when you're having a really nice holiday in the sunshine, after 2 weeks of recovering in London. Is this the flow that people are talking about? Yes. Yeah, what have you heard about it?
Sometimes your flow is right and be adjusted.
Yeah. I think some people have described when you're in this condition as being in the flow. And most of us are not in the flow most of our lives. And so we're not really performing at our peak. And when you're in the flow, like this, then you perform better, whether it's in sport, or in life, or engagement socially, personally, or on your own. You're in the flow. I think it's a nice way of describing the technique when it's working well, if you're in the flow. Some people have said it's in the zone. You heard of that one? You're in the zone.
I feel tingling down the outside of my legs.
Tingling, yes. Yeah. So you had warmth in the back. That was also a result of quietening and freeing up. And now you have these spontaneous feelings of tingling. And that's also a sign of things quietening down and freeing up. No, not checking them, no, just communicating. So the Alexander teacher's hands aren't so much stethoscopes to check you out, but more to communicate a message. And the message that an Alexander teacher communicates, hopefully, is one of stillness and freedom and ease. Does that make sense? So that's a communication, and that's a communication. And that's a communication. Yeah?
My whole feet is
Your whole feet tingling now, goodness. You'll be vibrating all the way through to your neck soon.
What's going on?
What's going on is, I'll give you a term for it, which isn't an Alexander term. It's a term that might be helpful. It's an organismic self-regulation. So basically the body is righting itself. Something's returning to its original balance. And when there's interferences, then things remain clamped and stuck. And when the interferences of mind and body dissipate, then there's a reorganization that happens naturally and organically. The breathing is quieter, you feel that. And the muscles are doing what they're designed to do, the circulation is doing what it's designed to do, the postural patterns are returning and recovering their normality, your digestive system is working easier, your eyes are quietening down, the jaw is freeing up, yes, the ribcage is more mobile. All of these natural organic conditions are recovering themselves or healing themselves. And that happens when the mind and body achieve a certain state of stillness and non-interference. These things that you're talking about naturally occur.
I don't naturally feel it.
You wouldn't, no, because most of the time they wouldn't be occurring. But when you're in this deeper condition of stillness and freedom, then they can occur. You're liberating them. You're returning to a balanced resting state and ease. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You're letting something happen. I'm not doing it for you.
I'm not doing it, but I'm feeling it.
No, you're feeling it,
Yes,
yes.
I do.
But in a way, your system is doing it. Your system is recovering, it's healing itself, and opening itself, and circulating itself, and digesting itself, and breathing itself, and so on. Yeah? So that your system is doing it all, but it's because you've created conditions where the system is able to do those things, rather than preventing the system from recovering. Yeah? So you're in recovery mode right now. can see that even without a problem in the first place, it's how beneficial it can be from where you started. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you didn't have a problem in the first place, but you're certainly in a healthier condition now than 45 minutes ago. Is that fair to say?
Has it been that long?
It's been that minutes. It feels like 2 minutes, doesn't it? Yes, it's been about 45 minutes, but it's gone like a flash. Yeah. I think that's a very good point you made, that even though you didn't come in with a major issue, you feel quite a contrast to the everyday. Good.
You wouldn't normally think about doing something
Unless
like
there's a
this
problem.
unless it's a problem.
I think you're right, and you're obviously very blessed that you were advised to do Alexandra as just helping us out for a volunteer.
That's what I thought I was doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it is sad in a way that people tend to come to Alexandra only when there's a problem. And usually a big problem, and they've tried everything else. And most people don't come for general well-being. Exactly, that's the word I was going to say.
It feels like it's a spa day.
It's a spa day. It is like a spa day, but unfortunately, it's a real tragedy that people don't come to Alexandra for the spa day effects of well-being, because they wait for a problem. And if more and more people came to Alexandra because they realise that it actually can enhance health and well-being without having a problem in the first place, the problems wouldn't happen in the future. It would prevent problems occurring. But most people don't think preventatively. They say, I'll wait till there's a problem and I'll go to someone to correct it. But it would be wonderful if people came to Alexandra as a way of preventing problems occurring further down the line, and also came for an experience of well-being that they didn't even realise was possible.
If you more sessions you had, would you expect to be able to maintain this yourself?
Yes, so this is one session, and the purpose of a number of sessions is for you to have more of an ability and a capacity of living at this level of vibration, this level of being. Yes, on your own, less and less dependent on a teacher. Yes.
And would the tinklings stop?
The tinkling is just self-writing mechanisms that are going to be stopping in a few minutes anyway, if they haven't stopped already. They're just phenomena that variously will happen as your system quietens down and opens up. Right, so you're going to now, in a second, you're going to roll onto your left, and now we'll guide your head, and your legs will come over the side of the table, and then you'll be sitting on the side of the table. Okay, so you roll onto your left-hand side. That's it, feet over the side. Perfect. And then help yourself off the table with your hands, and then wait there for a while. But you do. There's no hurry. And then gently just go and sit in the chair. Yeah, have a seat.
Can I sit normally?
Yeah, you sit normally, you're fine. Yes, wonderful. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, anything you want to share?
It feels a bit strange.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
It really does feel very straight. It feels like there's some heat going from the top of my head all the way down my neck now,
Yeah.
which I wasn't anticipating.
Yeah. That's just muscles
And
freeing up
shoulders.
and across the elbow. You can see what's happened. Can you feel what's happened across you? What's it feel like it's happening all the way across your shoulders? This area of the chest.
There's so much going on, I'm not sure I can tell what's happening.
Yeah, it's widening.
Stretched out.
It's stretched out, that's right. It's stretched out. And the sensation you have across here is the circulation, the muscles opening up. When muscles soften, then more blood comes in and you'll have those sensations of warmth and tingling, which will normalise very soon. Any questions or any other comments?
I can feel both sides of my back as well. It seems to be engaged in a different way.
Very different.
Where I came.
That's right, very different way, a much softer back. That's right. It's much easier, much more easy to be upright without any effort. Yeah, that's right.
It feels a bit spooky.
It's weird, isn't it? You didn't
Yes.
quite expect this, did you?
No. No, I did not. But thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Excellent. Thank you for sharing yourself with us. It really helped.